in the hospitals in Uganda in the 1980s. And this is when HIV and AIDS was at the climax in that country. Peter has written a book. Maybe I could just say from doctor to theologian. Why did Peter do this? When he was attending to one of the patients, he did all he could with his medical skills. And there was this patient, John, who asked him very many challenging questions. And Peter O'Callaghan left a job as a doctor and came to Kenya to study theology to see whether he could serve better. I'm just trying to say that the contributions from this book are probably an answer to the questions that John was asking. Maybe I'm going to repeat what others have said before, but the church continues to play a very significant role. Now, for us to come here, probably we received the card or we saw an advert, and we have very many priests here. Do you invite people to come to your churches on Sunday? Tomorrow, because I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, I plan to go to church. No pastor has invited me there. The church has got an opportunity where we come when we are not invited and where we want to look for answers. At the National AIDS Control Council, as of now, I think we expect some changes. But as of now, we have a board of 17, and 3 slots are for the faith communities. We have SUPKEM, these are the Muslims. We have NCCK, the Protestants, and we have the Episcopal Conference. Is that what we call them? Yes. This goes to show the weight that is put on issues of faith and issues of church and HIV. Under the secretariat itself at NACC, we have a desk that is committed and committing to issues of faith and HIV. So we go back to the story of Peter O'Callaghan, that we cannot talk about HIV and AIDS outside the church, outside faith. It has already been said that it's a multi-sectoral issue and we require a multi-sectoral response. Faith goes with hope. And I find that HIV has challenged language. At the National AIDS Control Council, our brand is Maisha. And those of us who understand that language, it is life. And yet when we are talking about HIV and AIDS, despite ARVs, we are talking about threat to life, threat to life. And yet we're talking about Maisha. In May, we had a conference, and you'll just listen to these words. The theme of the conference was accelerating progress towards the zero. The drivers here, when you accelerate, you are moving forward. Accelerating towards zero. At that conference, I was sitting with some doctors, and I asked them, why do you say this person is positive? Why don't we say they are negative? What I'm trying to say is that as we talk about HIV and AIDS, and it has been very well articulated in the book, we need to have a positive approach. And that is why even the language is a little bit upside down, but bringing that element of hope, accelerating towards zero. One of the challenges I find as a teacher is to award marks, And I remember one case where this fellow wrote really badly, deserved a 0. But when I remembered the contributions this person makes in class, I cannot account for it, So 0 is not very positive. But in HIV, we are talking about accelerating towards 0. 0 discrimination, 0 related deaths, and 0 discrimination and stigma. And I think this is in line with the vision of AGEN. Keeping records, I think, is something else that I got from the book. In the foreword, Unayaikan says, of the sense you get from what he has written, is that we need to document. That there was a time when the church said, Jesus documents for us. We don't need to tell the world what we are doing. But documents are very important. Though one of my professors at one point told me I'd just taken up a new office at the university. He was my teacher. And he told me, Mary, one of the things I would like you to observe is write as few memos as possible. People resent memos, and especially personal memos. You didn't return marks in time. You didn't attend class. Invigilation did not go on. Maybe those are negative records. So Unayaiken says it's good for us to document and share that which we are doing. The books we write, and I see several writers here, the books we write, they outlive us. One of the questions I ask my students is, how long would you like to live? The older they are, the more they push the time. I don't know when I taught you, Omondi, how old you were, but if I'd asked that question, you would have given me the age at which you are now. We are not going to be here forever. One way or another, we live. How we live is not what I would like to discuss today, but what I would like to emphasize is what we write outlives us. And so this book is going to outlive the writers. This book remains a heritage that we can refer to. So, which is your story? I'll keep on going back to that. When I received the first copy of this book, I wrote back to AGEN and said, could you please give us another copy for our resource center at the National AIDS Control Council, so that others may hear this story. Indeed, Florence has already mentioned that there is a gap. The voice of the people who are living positively. But as I went through the book, I could hear the voices of people living positively being reflected. This is a record that is going to be very useful. And I want to believe that we are going to share it with other faith groups because we learn from each other. As I finish, I'd like to share that there are many challenges with regard to response to HIV and AIDS. It has already been mentioned, indeed, 85% of the funds in Kenya are from elsewhere. That makes it very uncomfortable. A very frequent word you will hear at the council is when the taps are closed, what is going to happen? It's a very big challenge. Yes, that is money we're talking about, but we also want to acknowledge the many groups, and even as we started earlier, there were a few slides which were showing us what is going on at the community level. This work has taken me to places of this country where I think I would not have gone. I come back challenged, but at the same time motivated that there are people who are doing work, not because somebody is going to pay them, women groups that come together, youth groups that come together for social support. We don't count that when we look at the money, but that is a contribution we would like to acknowledge. Right now, there are high-level efforts that our country may put on in a little more in the kitty. A big challenge again is on stigma and discrimination. Issues of human rights and justice were mentioned earlier. And as of now, at least the records that we have, Kenya is one of those countries that have come up with a tribunal that looks at issues of discrimination at work, at home, and you just visit them, you are not going to pay for it, and they will listen to your issue and they will help you. And you know, sometimes it's not because you are going to get an injection that is going to help you. You are not going to get a job for your mother so that she can support the many orphans that have been left, but you are just going to get somebody who will listen to you. We go back to the issue of conversation. As the council, we also have a challenge that much as we call ourselves a coordinating body, we don't have the legal mandate to do that. That's why I said we expect some changes. We have a bill in Parliament right now. When that bill goes through, then we believe that the council will be able even to put more challenge on duplication on who is doing what in our society. And we want to appreciate that at community level, we have networks there. Again, representation is required from faith communities, and we've seen a lot of good work going on there. As I come to the end, what remains for us to do, challenged from this book and others, is that we need to continue thinking, critical, innovative thinking. I was surprised that the book I mentioned earlier, it has no faith element or angle in it, but as they are making their recommendations, they are saying that we also need to look above or look up. They did not qualify what looking up means, but I think this is credit and recognition that of ourselves there is nothing we can do. The God who has intervened in the past, I think the same God will intervene even in the days to come. We need to debate. I think it was in April, we had a debate here, organized by the council, and this was the second one. We are going to public universities, not really public, we are going to universities, and we are coming up with topics where we would like debate. You know, debate is not that I'm the winner or I'm the loser, but from debate, our thinking is challenged. And I believe that when we come out of a debate, it opens of our horizons. We need to continue asking what works and what doesn't work this far in the interventions that we have had, and what can we do differently so that we can change things. As I come to the end, given the audience that we have here, many of us, if I was to ask you, how old are you? It may not be very easy for that to come out. Children less than 10 are very quick to tell you, no, I'm 3, I'm 4, I'm 5. As the birthdays and World AIDS Days come, we would like to see that as HIV advances in years, AIDS, that will become like the birthdays, that we will have less glamour because new infections will be reduced. There'll be less glamour because there'll be less discrimination, less deaths. That could be our wish as we continue. I was challenged by a song, and I'm just going to share a few lines from a song by Anne Smith, and her question is, how far from home? And her reflections, I think, will go well to sum our being here. How far from home, an end to HIV, positive living, AIDS. So how far from home? And this song says, the long dark night is almost gone, the morning soon will break. Then weep no more, but speed thy flight, with hope's bright star, thy guiding ray. With courage bold, the sword will wield, the battle is not long. Then weep no more, but well endure the conflict till the work is done. For this we know, the prize is sure when victory is won. Then weep no more, then weep no more. The whole creation is waiting, it groans, to hear the trumpet sound. Our trials will be past, our joys will be complete, we will be safe. That's our desire, and I believe that this book has done that. Thank you very much for your time.
As we close this session, it is my privilege to offer a vote of thanks. On behalf of Ajan and our great partners, Pauline's Publications, as well as the entire, let me call it fraternity of actors involved in the battle against AIDS who are present, and on my own behalf too, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all of you who have made it here today. A special thanks goes to the speakers for their constant work in fighting AIDS and for sharing their thoughts with us today. I express our heartfelt appreciation to Professor Getui, who has taken a time out of her busy schedule to be here and to impart some of her valuable knowledge and expertise to us. We are equally grateful to Ms. Florence Anam for her openly sharing experience. We may not understand firsthand the challenge she faces, but we can see and relate to the fruits of her wonderful work. To our host, the Catholic University of Eastern Africa, especially the Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellors, and all university officials, our sincere gratitude for your hospitality. I also take this opportunity to extend our heart thanks to Festus, the events organizer of the university, for his perfect logistical support and guidance that were so important to make this launch a success. Well, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, an event like this does not happen overnight. Every motivated and dedicated team set the plans into motion weeks ago, working very hard to organize the launch. This would not have been possible without the backing of the Pauline's publication, who published the book and are here today in support of its sale. The Celsius Restaurant at Aquia, the Guru's Theatre Group, Majis Kangemi, for ushering, as well as the entire Ajan House team. I say to you all, Asante Sana. And nearly last but not means the least, I turn to one of our own, Father Elias Omondi. Thank you for being an excellent master of ceremonies this afternoon. Asante sana na baraka tele. My last thank you goes to the contributors to this book, most of who are not here today, but whose dedicated writings have made the book the wonderful resource it is.